Girls, what makes a guy creepy? Story 1. When they have no awareness of personal boundaries, like following you in public places or intentionally to your home, and they don't even seem to realize how creepy that is. I don't know if it's because I live in a big city, but this is surprisingly common. A friend did this to me. We'd hung out, and when it was time to part ways, we said goodbye, but he kept walking with me. He did this all the way to my apartment. We'd said goodbye like 3 times. It would have been one thing if he'd offered to walk me home. I'd get that. But doing it that way was really creepy. Story 2. Constant, uninterrupted staring, or getting way too close when talking and practically gluing themselves to you. I don't mean accidental eye contact, normal talking eye contact, or passive daydream staring. I mean direct, unbroken staring. I get you. There's a guy at work I catch staring at me at least once every day. It's creepy. I try not to be alone in the same room with him. Story 3. What's the difference between a normal glance and an invasive stare? It depends on context and duration. A few seconds in a bar? Fine. Every day at work for months, drilling into you and clearly making you uncomfortable? Not fine. Story 4. When they say personal things about you. A guy from my old job mentioned I took a different route to work one morning. Then he rattled off a mix of letters and numbers. When I asked what it meant, he said, "That's your license plate, right?" What the fuck? Another day, he cornered me in a room and tried to kiss me. Super awkward. His wife was my supervisor, and I was his superior. I was the nurse. He was the nursing assistant. I was a new nurse and didn't feel comfortable in my role yet. I ended up asking coworkers to escort me places. Hey, that sounds like restraining order territory. Story 5. Hey, I noticed no tampon wrappers in your trash this week. Everything okay? Story 6. When guys try to isolate you from your friends. Like when you're in a group and a guy suddenly wedges in and starts pulling you away from everyone. I once experienced a wall of men. A guy at a bar started chatting with me, and when I looked around, all his friends had blocked me in, facing the crowd. After 20 minutes, he asked if I wanted to leave. I said yes. I tapped one friend on the shoulder, and he let me through. I'm 5 feet 7 inches. They were all 5'11" plus. When I finally found my friends, they'd been circling the bar looking for me. Of course, I was hidden behind the wall of men. Story 7. When a guy won't give you space even after you've implicitly or explicitly made it clear you want it. No details, but when I was younger, a sweet guy turned creepy because he wouldn't leave me alone even when I said I needed time to myself. If they can't respect your boundaries, get out fast. Story 8. Context. This was as kids, but still valid. I straight up told a boy to leave me alone. I want to be by myself right now. Eventually, I just said, "Leave me alone." And it took more dodging for him to get it. I get he was lonely, but it turned him from a sweet but lonely kid into one I actively avoided. Story 9. When they won't take no for an answer. A guy actually told me I don't take no for an answer after I said I didn't want to go out with him. I walked away and went back to my office. This was on a college campus building. I felt awful the rest of the day. At closing time, I had to walk about half a mile to the parking lot. I saw a coworker heading that way and asked if he'd mind walking with me. Turns out the student followed anyway, and tried to get into my car when I unlocked it. Thank God my coworker was there and scared him off. Campus police got involved, ID'd the student, and banned him from the building I worked in. Turns out 2 other girls had filed complaints too. He'd apparently followed one poor girl all the way to her dorm. Story 10. I have a funny no story. When my little brother was 6 or 7, I was 10. He came home saying he'd learned to say no politely but firmly to bullies. Cool. He wanted to play with my toy. I said no. He asked again. I said no. Then he grabbed me, stared into my eyes, and said, "Jen, I asked nicely. Now I'm asking nicely but firmly. Can I play with your toy?" He got a solid whack on the head with the toy, and that's when he learned about consent. Story 11. When they only talk about sex or make every interaction about it. Sex isn't a personality trait, and if I talk a lot about barbecue, it's because I really love barbecue. Story 12. When they keep asking you out after 3+ straight rejections, it gets excessive and creepy. Also, contacting you on more than 2 platforms is creepy. Guy here. I only asked girls out twice. The second time, only if she was busy the first. After that, I vanish. Story 13. When it's clear they're not seeing you as a person, but as a conquest. I have a weird coworker. Every time he talks to me, it's like he only sees his preconceived ideas of who I am and what I think. It's annoying. We must have the same coworker. Mine adds weird comments, like saying my husband would never let me do X. I'm not married, and he clearly means himself when he says it. No way, mine does too. Like hinting I deserve someone better after I mention my husband. Recently, my husband was job hunting and unemployed for 2 weeks. Coworker had the nerve to say he should have had a job by now. When he finally got one, coworker trashed the position, then bragged about being a great provider for his last girlfriend. He's so dumb I want to punch him. Story 14. When you don't reply instantly or need something from you, they get sad or send sad messages to guilt trip you. Speaking from experience, I'm a guy, but for girls it's a huge red flag too. Ugh, same. I dated a super needy, insecure guy a few times. Unfortunately, he worked with me, bad choice. Don't date coworkers. At first I didn't realize how bad it was. He gets super upset if I didn't reply right away or spend all my free time talking to him. One day I just wanted space and wasn't in the mood to talk. Classic introvert. I told him I didn't feel like talking and we'd see each other at work tomorrow. But no, he kept calling over and over. I finally answered, told him to stop, and hung up. When he didn't, I blocked him. Next day at work, he tried talking, saying I'd really hurt his feelings and made me feel guilty. That's when I realized how bad it was. I broke up with him and ignored him until he quit a few weeks later. Haven't seen him since, and I'm not bothered. Story 15. When much older men think every young woman wants them. I've worked with some like that. They give me the creeps. Especially when they lick their lips staring at a young woman. An over 60 guy at my gym brags about his dating app wins, making you think he's hooking up with every hot 20-something. He's a retired salesman who loves telling you about his next amazing job because kids today have no work ethic. He also fucks every girl, even ones who look high school age. Super weird guy. Story 16. developing feelings way too fast. I get being someone who falls hard, but there's a limit, like chatting on a dating app, 3 messages in, and the guy says I love you. Story 17. Guys who try to give you shoulder massages. We've known each other one day. I don't want you touching me. I befriended a neighborhood guy when I moved to my current city. Within hours, he was calling me his girlfriend. We had an awkward talk when I said I wasn't going to be. Story 18. Not reading the room. What's appropriate depends heavily on where you are and who you're with. Something fine with friends can be creepy elsewhere. Example, my brother-in-law told a story at the annual family reunion about a woman brewing beer with her vaginal yeast. Might have been interesting with bar buddies. At family dinner, creepy. Not knowing what's appropriate is creepy. Story 19. Standing way too close when I'm trying to talk, or asking too many personal questions when we barely know each other. Also, when I walk by and they whisper to their friends. That really freaks me out. Story 20. When they tell you to smile. Dude, I'm not here to make you feel good about yourself. I don't even know you. And no one in history has ever smiled because a stranger told them to. Story 21. Comments about my race. I'm Indian, and the number of times a guy has called me exotic is gross. If you're complimenting me, at least don't make it about my race. My day would be made if the same guy said, "Hey, nice jacket," or "You look great today." Story 22. When I show disinterest in the conversation and he keeps pushing. A guy can approach me in public, say I look pretty, not creepy. But if I thank him, put in earbuds or go back to my phone, and he keeps going, it turns creepy fast. I think men need to listen more to women's cues. Body language and responses tell you if she wants to keep talking or not.